I'm Brian Kenny. Opening weekend, it's all small sample size theater, but we've seen some interesting things already. We'll talk relief pitching coming up. Joel Sherman, Carlos Pena on the panel. Joe Madden with his weekly visit. Are the Dodgers truly a super team? And the Rhys Hoskins affair, we ask the telling question here, was he up to no good? Gives you a lot of answers. But first, winning baseball is the sum of many small things. And it is won often by stars, but more often through the contributions up and down the roster. Brian Cashman of the Yankees took a lot of flack last year in a disappointing season, but this weekend's sweep of the Astros showed an attention to detail on the Yankee roster. Let's do a little digging in. We're just going to concentrate on the final innings of the fourth and final game between the Yankees and Astros. Seventh and eighth innings. Here are two pitchers you probably don't know about. Caleb Ferguson and Nick Burdi, both picked up in this offseason. Ferguson came in the seventh. He went through Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker, and Alex Bregman. That's a good heart of the order. Then Burdi came on in the eighth inning. The Yankees are very good at getting relievers who have a spotty history, turning them into something quite effective. Those two kept it a tie game late in the game. Go to the ninth inning. Obviously, Juan Soto is not some small end-of-the-roster move. He's a superstar, but they paid dearly to get this guy. He could hardly have looked better. And here, facing a very sharp Josh Hader, stays on the ball. That's not easy. Smacks a base hit to left. That's all you can do with it. It's 4-3 Yankees. Grade A-B. Now, if you watch this series, you saw how good Soto's at-bats were. Maybe you don't always have success. Here he is game by game. You know, not every time, but process leads to eventual success. Soto saw 25 pitches in Game 1, 22 in Game 4. Each AB was tough. Each game he's productive. 13 total bases for Juan Soto in 4 games, and he was great defensively. But it's not over yet. The Astros got first and second, nobody out in the bottom of the ninth, top of the order coming up. John Burdi was a late addition to the Yankees roster. They traded for him last week from Miami. Burdi, look at that play. He was +5 defensive runs saved last year at third base. That's a fantastic play, saves the game. By the way, he's also above league average offensively, a 103 OPS plus, and he holds it down at 5 positions, including shortstop. He's a useful guy. How do you get him opening week? They got him. The Astros almost won this game 3 times in the ninth. Yordan Alvarez flew out deep. He had a foul ball just missed. And then Kyle Tucker hit this to left field. This is not an easy play, and that's why the Yankees now have a regular left fielder. They didn't have it last year in Alex Verdugo. Just a solid play. Not the greatest play ever, but very good. That's 2 relievers, Soto, Burdi, Verdugo, all in the space of a few key innings. Winning baseball is the sum of many small things, and the late Yankee additions illustrated that yesterday. Yankees seemed to be good at the top-end talent last year, but they were lacking in spots. And Soto, for whatever reason, is just a great fit. I was just talking about it. We're going to talk about that with Joe Madden coming up. Why a great fit in New York, but not in San Diego? It's one of those baseball mysteries. First, though, we want to hear from you at MLB Now on X. What did we learn from the Astros and Yankees in that opening series? Joel Sherman, Carlos Pena are on the panel. Joel, you start. What did you think?
Yeah, BK, I think you didn't talk about the other end, which sets your essay up even better. The Yankees had become a 2-man team. They were great when Garrett Cole pitched. They were 23-10 when he started last year. They were 59-70 when he didn't. We saw when Aaron Judge played last year, he carried them. Then he hurt his toe. Their offense went to the very bottom. They had become a 2-man team. And Brian Cashman this offseason addressed some of this stuff. I'll highlight one issue. The Astros have dominated the Yankees for many reasons over the last few years. One of them is the Astros don't have lefty relievers these last few years, but it didn't hurt. The Yankee order was all right-handed. Last year, 109 relief at-bats against the Yankees. All were by right-handed relievers. Here are the 25 by the lefties. Look at that. 105 batting average. You know, look at this year. They already have 28 plate appearances by lefties versus righty relievers there's no longer a lane where you say, hey, we could bring in our power righty with a fastball and a slider and just go through huge swaths of the Yankee lineup. 4 extra base hits over the weekend in this situation, 1 all of last year. It's subtle, but the Yankee lineup, Soto obviously, but Austin Wells, Verdugo, Cabrera gave them good at-bats, a switch hitter over the weekend.
Lefty. Yeah.
Rizzo. It's now back to balance, and the Yankees needed the balance.
Good point. What's your take?
Yeah, the sum of all parts, right? I mean, we're talking about this locomotive that is definitely has great potential, but at the end of the day, every single cylinder needs to be working properly. And we saw all the pieces working in synergy. Your entire essay was precisely that. Everyone contributed. So the sum of all parts give you a successful, Yankee team.
Right.
And going over there to Houston, Houston is a juggernaut. And they went out there and swept him in Houston. That is the best way to start the season. I mean, you couldn't write it any better.
The Yankees used to, over the last few years, I mean, they either bludgeoned you or they lost. Now you're winning small. You used the correct word. You used it the other day, and it perked my ears up. You said one team was better in synergy with each other. That's, I think, the elusive, what I call clubhouse chemistry, right? Is that there are things in synergy. And, Verdugo here, Birdie there, smaller guys, important guys.
Right. When you look at a chessboard, right, all these pieces, if you're going to win a chess match, working in synergy, this is what you want in a baseball team. And I'm going to go even further. I mean, when you hear these guys like Oswaldo Cabrera talking about, wait a second, I'm going to postpone my media appointment because I have to go watch Soto hit. All right. When you look at how, in batting practice, forget it. Wait. I'll be with you right in a moment. But first, I have to watch Soto hit. Look at the influence here. You look at Anthony Volpe taking more pitches, Austin Wells, Oswaldo Cabrera. Notably, I know this is just the beginning of the season, but it's a whole entire pitch more than in previous times in 2023.
Interesting. Yeah.
Now,
by the way, we've seen that before. In ye olden times when Wade Boggs joined the Yankees, and suddenly it was Boggs. Then an effect on Jeter, on Bernie Williams, Jorge Posada. So that's real. You see it when one guy can set the tone like that.
But very important to make the distinction. This is not going up to the plate just to take pitches.
Right.
This is having an approach, right? You are looking for a zone, and if the ball's not thrown to you in that zone, you're hunting what you want. You want your big steak, and you ribeye. Well, if they give you something else that's not what you want, you take it. And it's contagious. Everyone in the lineup is doing so. And then when they get what they want, boy, they've been crushing it.
Can I just say you hit on something? If I were going to point out another reason there has been a difference between the Astros and the Yankees over the last several seasons is they're generally close games, and one team plays baseball better than the other.
Right.
That has been the Astros for several years.
Right.
You know who played baseball better for 4 days? The Yankees fielded much better, especially in the clutch. The Astros threw away a game in Game 2 with a lot of bad defensive plays. The key bunt in the series was laid down by Austin Wells, right? They ran the bases well in general. The one stolen base they had all series set up the winning run in the finale. Yeah. They played baseball better than the team that always plays baseball better than them. And they added Soto, who is great.
Right, no question. Let's get to that, because Gleyber Torres, last year especially, took a lot of heat from us, because he kept ending up on unbaseball-y plays. But Torres got on base, fought against Josh Hader. Again, that was a legit Josh Hader. And then he steals his base easily, gets in scoring position in a tie ball game. So it brings us to managerial check. As you see, Joe Espada is in there, and Aaron Boone is in there. So now here comes Juan Soto. Aaron Judge is on deck. What do you do here, Joel?
So I understand everything for 100+ years of history there is it's Josh Hader, it's left on left, it's about as tough and at bat as you're going to get. But if you've watching this series, Juan Soto is single-handedly dominating the series from the bat. This is as bad as you might see Aaron Judge all season. I understand it's right versus left. The Astros have generally unplugged Judge. If you just told me, I could put Soto on first base, the next run that scores wins the game. So to me, even though it's the road team. So if I could, I know the backfire is Judge hits a 3-run homer, then how do you explain it? I think you have a better chance to get Aaron Judge out in that spot.
You'd walk Soto.
I would walk Soto left on left because Soto is so locked in. At some point, if we don't have AI,
you're right, but I can't do it.
If we have AI,
you're right, but I can't do it.
Without AI machines in the dugout, you have to watch this series. There's no way I'm letting Juan Soto beat me. I cannot sleep at night knowing that Juan Soto decided that game.
I don't know. I know he does historically hit Hader too, because nobody hits Hader when he's at his very best.
And he was at his very best.
I couldn't. True. I still couldn't do it.
And I do understand this point of view, but right there I would have walked Soto simply because I am watching the game, and this guy's absolutely locked in.
Yeah.
Now, in the past, Judge has actually hit a home run against Hader, 1 for 2, strikeout and a home run. So you're like, okay, not a big sample size. But if I'm watching, like, man, he's not feeling his best at home plate, I'm going to take my chances against, especially with Hader that likes to throw that fastball glove side. For Judge, it's tough to get to that up and in fastball.
Right.
So that's what I would have done. Talk about herd behavior right there, right? You want to fail, but you don't want to explain later that you failed because you went on a hunch.
Well, I don't think it's a hunch.
Not hunch, right? But I think you were going, do you want to fail conventionally, which is always acceptable?
Yeah.
You'd rather fail unconventionally if that's going to happen.
Or just put a robot there to manage the game.
By the way, we're getting there.
Which probably
AI manager.
Before conventionally used to be.
Look, my biases, when I saw that matchup, I saw it happen. I'm watching it live. I'm thinking back to 2019. We're going, he can take this guy deep. He's one of the few that can actually hit this guy.
BK, it's great to be with you in that esteemed panel you have there today with Carlos and Joe. Awesome.
All right, so something just popped up then, Joe. How about that?
That's right.
Do you have Josh Hader on the mound? Now there's a man on second. Do you walk Juan Soto with Aaron Judge coming up? What do you do?
No, the only reason why you're talking about it is because you got a hit. And I think Carlos presented the fact that it was a hunch, right? What is a hunch? It's years of experience, it's wisdom, it's whatever. But I would have pitched him, absolutely. Now, yes, I would have. Judge is one of the scariest guys in the game. Soto gets a hit, so all of a sudden it creates this kind of a dialogue. But definitely pitched to him, would not have walked him to pitch the Judge.
Joe, in fairness, we bring up a lot on this show where we're not judging the result. And I'm saying, even in real time, when Soto go up against Hader, I just even thought, he hits this guy. Now, he's 3 for 5 lifetime against him, but he did in that 2019 series. That was the ball that scooted by Grisham. Remember that? It was a bases loaded. Season was on the line. They saved their season against the Brewers. And again, fluidly, Soto does look great in this series. Judge does not. Does that influence you at all?
I'll tell you, if I had thought that before the game, possibly, if that was brought to my attention before the game, that would have been in the bank a little bit. But to think that thought in that particular moment, I don't think that would have happened. That's something you have to percolate in advance. But I'm here to tell you, man, Aaron Judge, I'm not walking him. I'm not walking him now. That's it. If you want, I'm not going to go out there and tell him to pitch to him carefully. But again, part of this whole thing is, did you see the jump that Torres had on Hader? And then furthermore, I think the runner was running from second to third when the base hit actually did occur, because that's short left field. And you want to get the third base in order to score on a base hit to left, which happened because he was moving. All those things have to be considered in that moment.
It brings up another point, and Joe, I tried to give this to you earlier because it's clear your mind for a second. I want your big picture thought on this, because it's one of these baseball mysteries. Juan Soto had a very good hitting year for the Padres last year. He didn't fail, but he did not fit with that team. The team he did not elevate the team. They didn't elevate with him. Maybe that's more fair. And right now he looks like a great fit with the Yankees. Why is that?
Well, that's a good point. We've already talked about that. I just think he needed more time in San Diego. Probably a lot of big personalities there, a lot of superstars vying for the spotlight. They didn't really morph together as a team or a group during that short period of time. So to totally denigrate him as not being capable of morphing into that situation, it may not have been his fault. There's just no telling. But with more time with that group, Bogarts, Manny, etc., I think it would have happened, but it did not. They did not give it enough time. And right now he is playing. Listen, when he was at the Nationals, I thought this guy's a superstar for 100 years. And he's showing that again. He is motivated. Adrenaline is flowing. He's a Yankee. It kind of makes a difference, yes.
Yeah, they are a little staid, right? S-T-A-I-D.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
The Yankees are they're a little stiff, they're a little staid, and suddenly here comes this vibrant, energetic person, and maybe there was too much crazy energy in San Diego. In New York, there isn't, and suddenly he's added. It just looks like a perfect fit. All right, anyway, the Rhys Hoskins thing this weekend. Yes. Let's say you're managing, all right? You believe that Hoskins has aggrieved you and your club with that slide, all right? So knowing that, what is the proper response? If you're managing, what is your response, if anything?
Well, first of all, I think it's a good slide. I hate this rule, by the way. I've never been a fan of this rule. I thought it was a decent slide, a good slide. And McNeil, of all people, he comes from Long Beach State. If you're from Long Beach State and you're a dirtbag, you're one of the toughest guys on any baseball field. So I was kind of disappointed in that because I'm a big fan of his. Now, furthermore, based on the ball going behind his head, Hoskins, because I happened to see that pitch. And you can't tell me the pitcher said something to the effect like that it got away from him. I do not believe that. Even
so what do you do? What's the proper response?
You hit the guy in the thigh. I mean, the pitcher hits him in the thigh.
First time, when do you throw at him? The next time, or they waited? That's the thing. It didn't happen right away.
You should do it immediately, the first at bat. We did that with the Rays. Jim Shields hits Coco Crisp in the thigh. All hell breaks loose, and it's over. Okay, so you don't wait. If you really feel as though it's necessary, you pick a thigh. You pick a thigh and you do it that way.
Pick a thigh. By the way, that slide was a little late, Joe. I mean, I love Hoskins. It was a little over the bag. He started his slide a little past the bag.
He was able to caress the bag with both arms, and that seems to be the spirit of the rule.
While he was caressing the bag, he was spiking McNeil. And so, there was a little caressing and there was a little spiking at the same time. Come on, Joe.
I like the slide. I like the slide a lot.
I love the slide, too.
Part of the game.
And I think it was kind of illegal. All right, that's all. I mean, it violated the spirit of the rule.
Illegal based on the way the rule's been written more recently. I agree with that.
All right. Ron Washington called a team meeting after the second loss. He took over the Angels, obviously. It's a club that you used to manage. And they did win the next game against the Orioles. Your thoughts on Wash calling a team meeting?
Well, I'm not a team meeting guy. Carlos and I work together. He knows that. I have a team meeting before the first game, All-Star break, and before the first playoff game. The only time I did a meeting during the season was in Kansas City in 2008 because I was really upset that it was getting away from us. And that was not a meeting. That was me screaming, yelling, crying, whatever it took. So that's when I had my one team meeting in all the years that I managed. Most of the time, it's for the guy that's giving the meeting to get something off of his chest. I've sat on the floor way too many times for team meetings, and I leave there just shaking my head. So anyway, I'm not an advocate, but if the manager watching this situation believed it was necessary, you got to do it. You just can't go back to your room and sleep on it, wishing you had done it before you go to the ballpark the next day.
All right. Hey, you know what? I disagree with you on a lot of topics. I think you and I have to do the showdown next because I'm agreeing with Joel and he's in the showdown. I'm disagreeing with you. So we're going to showdown it next time. How about that?
I love when I'm disagreeing with men. That's the only way I get to learn.
There you go. Good stuff. Joe, thank you so much. We'll talk to you next week.
There is a speed bump on the front. There is a speed bump on the front. Bump on the front. There is a speed bump on the front. There is a speed bump on the front. There is a speed bump on the front.